Welcome back, guys, to another video. Today's video is my wrap up and July TBR. So let's get into it. I did a reading my TBR video, so I'm gonna go through this quickly of what I've read. The first one is Powerless by Elsie Silver, which I rated 3 stars, I think. Yes, 3 stars. I just didn't really like the trope to this. I didn't feel the connection between them. I liked the book and I liked the writing. That's why I gave it 3 stars. 3 stars to me is still good. It's just not a book that I'm gonna ever think upon. I feel like Heartless was way better. I literally nearly rated that at 5 stars. I just didn't like the connection. Just wasn't there for me. The thing with Best Friends to Lovers, I've only ever read. I don't really read much of this trope because I know I don't like it, because I prefer when you have characters meet each other for the first time and you see their connection grow from the minute they're on page. With Best Friends to Lovers, those characters have history, they've grew up together, they were best friends, but so you don't really get to see their connection. All they really talk about is their connection. We got some flashbacks here and there, but you don't get to really see the connection that they had when they were children, because obviously it's not about when they were children. The story starts when they're already adults. So all I'm really seeing all I'm really reading is about how they've got such a good connection. They're best friends, like they've been best friends and I'm like, okay, you're telling me that, but I'm not seeing that. I'm not getting that. It's just like a show. It's more of a show and not tell. I don't know, I just don't feel the connection with Best Friends to Lovers. It's literally just the trope, because I know the writing is amazing, because I loved Heartless. I think it's literally was just the trope of this book. I just really didn't like the trope. I do not like Best Friends to Lovers. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like they already know each other. Why am I sitting here watching two people who already know each other? Like, I like it better when they don't know each other first off, and you get the little meet cute, and you get to see them finding out stuff about each other. Like, the main characters already knew everything about the other person. They already could like read the other person like a book, and I'm like, okay, well, I wanted to sort of be there to like for that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so I rated this 3 stars. Then I also read my most anticipated book of the year, which is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I rated this at 5 stars. I really loved it. There was some amazing emotional moments, and I tabbed some of the quotes. The quotes in here were absolutely amazing. This is like not what I usually expect from Magnolia and BJ. They were kind of bearable in this book. Like, it seems like they've learned from their mistakes. I honestly thought we were gonna get the same back and forward that we got in the other Magnolia Parks books. But this is mainly, if you haven't read the Magnolia Parks Long Way Home, if you haven't read that, I'm not gonna spoil it. But what happens at the end of Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, this book is literally just the aftermath of that, and it's just like loads of pages of just that. I don't even know how many pages, like 600 or something. It's like 700 pages of just that, of Magnolia dealing with what happened. And I would search up trigger warnings for this book, definitely, because there's like very many stuff to do with mental health. I liked it. It's just not what I'm used to. And it also just didn't give me that 5-star feeling at the end of it, where I like thought about it for days. So I will be giving it a 4.75 star. Now, a book that did give me the feeling of thinking about it for days was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I loved that book so much. It's literally literary fiction. It literally feels like a literary fiction book, but with romance in it. It was amazing. I would compare it to Emily Henry, but the thing is, usually in Emily Henry books, when I'm reading the romance part, I'm just not as invested in the characters in Emily Henry's books like I am in Abby Jimenez. For example, I read Funny Story, and that is sort of, again, follows the style of literary fiction with romance in it, but it's made as a romance book. And the romance, I didn't really care for. I didn't feel the connection. I liked the characters separately, but together, the romance was just like, okay. And then we had the second storyline, which is to do with their like families and stuff, which is usually what happens. But I also found that I just didn't care. But when I'm reading Abby Jimenez's book, this is actually the first one I've ever read by her. I will be reading more though. But when I was reading just for the summer, I found that I cared about the relationship like basically from the start. As soon as the relationship started, I was like, okay, I kind of like this, and I loved the characters individually. It was hilarious. I found it really funny. And then when they met, I was like, okay, I'm in love with this. And I loved the secondary part, like the literary fiction part. I love that storyline as well, to do with their parents and to do with it was amazing. I loved it. And it also has like I guess some triggers as well for like mental health. Mental health is talked about a lot in this book as well, and I absolutely loved it. I realized I didn't really say what these two are about. Powerless obviously is part of the series, and so is Magnolia Parks, but Just for the Summer is basically about a girl and a boy. I forgot their names. I'm just really bad with character names. But basically they both have a thing where whenever they date someone, they break up and that person ends up finding their one true love. And the guy ends up posting about this on Reddit, and she replies saying that the same happens to her. And so they decide to date each other so they can cancel out the curse that they have, so that after they date each other, they will find the one. And they agree on 4 dates, 4 dates, 2 hugs, and 1 kiss, or something like that. And that's what they agree upon. And yeah, it's like a thing that's just for the summer, and then they'll go their separate ways and find their one true love. And I absolutely loved it. It was really amazing. And I would definitely recommend reading it. I'm definitely going to read the rest of the series by her because it was just really good. Now, onto my TBR for July. Mainly, I'm going to mood read for July because I don't really have a TBR. I've got it all down in my journal here. I didn't do a journal with me video but I did do a little spread. One of the books I'm gonna start off with is The 100. If you've seen the series is apparently based off a book, which I didn't know. I randomly just saw these books in a store one day, and I bought the whole series because I loved the TV show. The last few seasons were a bit iffy, but I just loved it still as a whole. I'm still not even past chapter 1. I'm still like in the middle of chapter 1. I just started this, but I've got the whole series like right there ready to read, and I'm really excited because I just want to reread this and then rewatch the series. So yeah, I'm expecting this to be a 4-star. So yeah, that's my prediction for this one. So we'll see. I obviously will not be getting to all of these books. I don't think I'll be getting to all of these books, but these are just the ones that are on my radar for the month. And whichever ones I don't finish will just go into the next month. But next is probably the rest of the Chestnut Spring series, which is Reckless and Hopeless. This one actually follows the Sister of Summer, I think, which I'm really excited for. And this one, I think, follows Bew, the guy that goes to the army. This is like a short book. I think it's the shortest one in the series. But yeah, these seem really fun. I'm really excited for these. And I just want to finish off the series before the end of this month, hopefully, because I'm planning on doing a really big project in August, reading like a really big series that I do not want to be in the middle of another series when I'm reading that, so I do want to just finish these off. Having said that I don't want to be in the middle of any series when I go into the next month, I will also be finishing the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'm on Bad Blood. I loved the first one. I rated it 5 stars. And it's not that I don't like the series. The series, I think, is a 4-star series for me. I don't think it'll be a 5-star. It's just, it got a bit repetitive. It was the same format, and I binged the books all in one. So my recommendation is, if you're going to read this, don't binge them all in one, unless that's your thing. But if you don't like repetitive stuff, then don't binge them, because they were a bit repetitive, and maybe if I would have spaced it out between books, I would have loved the series more. It's just, it was repetitive. And so I've waited so long to read this. It's very floppy, which I love. But it's also huge, and I'm worried that it's just going to be a huge book and the same repetitive stuff that I got from the first two. This is like a 500-page book. And I'm worried it's just going to be a repetition of what we got from the first 3 books. But I haven't read the last book. I think it was Killer Instinct or All In. I haven't read that in a while. I've been like saving this for ages because I've just not been in the mood to read this since I binged all of them, and I was just like not in the mood to read another same thing. But I do want to finish the series, and I am in a bit more of a thriller mood because this month I've mainly read romances. I've literally Powerless, Magnolia Park, Just for the Summer, and Divine Rivals. I've literally only read romances, so I do want to branch out a little bit. That's why I'm reading the 100, and I want to incorporate this as well. I want to mood read a couple of different books, but we still have some romances in there. So yeah, I definitely do want to get to this at some point. This is like high on my TBR list and mood reading list, along with these two. You could say that these are more of like, actually I do want to read these, like these are on my TBR, and then the rest of the books that I'm going to mention are kind of like mood read. If I have time to read these, then I definitely do want to read them. This should come as no surprise since the movie's coming out in August, but I do want to get to It Ends With Us at some point. This is the beautiful special edition that I have with the sprayed edges and the foiling. Like, look at that. That is, and it has the quote at the end, and it's signed. Literally, this is one of my most prized possessions. I'm not even joking. I love it so much. But yeah, this is the book I also want to read, because I want to read it before the movie comes out in cinemas. I'm probably not going to be seeing it in cinemas though, so I don't even really need to read it right now because it's going to take a while to come out on normal. But I do want to read it, or try to read it at least this month. I won't be too upset if I don't get to it this month, because I can just wait to watch the film. It's like not limited edition. I can just wait to watch the film and read this when I'm going to watch the film. But yeah, this is definitely, if I can read it, this is definitely going to be one of the next ones I read. If I finish Bad Blood and the Chestnut Springs series, this is definitely going to just be the next one I read after that. The next book is Firefly Lane by Christine Hanna. I'm reading that on the Kindle and I'm really loving it. I'm literally in the middle of it. I started it in June and I'm really loving it so far. It's amazing. I'm like 30% of the way through, and I'm actually thinking about getting it physically so that I can annotate it, because there's so many annotatable moments. I just want to physically read this book. If you don't know, it's basically fiction between these two girls, and you basically just see them growing up through the times, and it's got chapters, but it's split up into parts. It's split up into like different decades. It's got like the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, and it just, as they're growing up, you see them grow up, and because of that they feel like such real life people, because you're seeing them grow up. And the reason why I got this on the Kindle is because I saw Sarah Caroli talk about it, and I was like, I haven't really heard of this book before. I don't know if I'm going to like it. Usually, if I don't know if I'm going to like a book, or if it's a book that's not really well known, and I don't know if I'm going to like it, I get it on the Kindle first, and then if I feel like, okay, I want this book physically, then I buy it physically. I'm trying to like stop myself from buying books physically that I'm not even sure if I'm going to like. I'm trying to only buy books physically if I know I'm going to love that book. For example, Reckless is coming out. I'm of course going to buy it physically because I know I'm going to love it. But I'm 30% of the way through, and there's so many things I wish I could have annotated now, and I really just want to annotate the book. So I heard that there's also a second of this book, so I might get to the second book, but probably not this month. But if I can get to the second book, I will, because I'm really loving it so far. I am also on audiobook listening to The 7 Year Slip. I'm utilizing everything. I'm reading physically, I'm reading on the Kindle, I'm now reading audiobooks. I never used to read audiobooks before, but usually when I'm at the gym, I'm just pop in my earphones and listen to audiobooks. I'm listening to The 7 Year Slip. I'm like 30% of the way through as well. I'm liking it so far, but again, everybody said it was great and it was a 5-star read, but I don't know, because I'm not really much for rating 5 stars like contemporary romance. I'm not a contemporary romance person. I'm more of a literary fiction, fantasy, thriller type person. And it's going good. I do feel like it's going a little bit fast, but we'll leave that to the end of the month to review. But yeah. But that is my TBR for July. I'm really, really excited to read all these books. I'm really in a good reading mood after coming out of a reading slump that I was in a couple months ago. I just want to read all of these books, starting with the 100. So I'm gonna go do that. Expect lots of videos because I'm in a very filming videos as well. And I'm gonna try and get more organized to film more videos for you guys and more podcast episodes. If you don't know, I also have a podcast. It's linked in the description, but I will also be making videos on here visually for you guys. But if you want to listen to it on audio, it's on Spotify. You can go listen there. But yeah, I want to do more of that as well. I'm just trying to get myself organized to be able to do that consistently. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in hopefully a week time with my new video that I'm posting. Bye.